So can you all see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So one of the themes is sustainable tourism, and it has a lot of emphasis in this area. But fortunately or unfortunately, nobody has opted for this theme much. But there are few people who have come forward and asked me that they would like to really know more about what we mean by sustainable tourism and how it can be approached. There are 5 members who are already kind of listed for this particular. So I am just taking you through this. But in the meantime, if you want to take a break, take a 2 minute break and we can really resume till I really do some setting for the recording. Yeah. So let's go. So sustainable tourism. Again, I'd like to reintroduce myself. Dolly Hussain. I'm an engineer by profession, but I mastered in travel and tourism from the University of Nottingham. I'm a gold medalist electronics and communication engineer. I founded Smart Edge about 9 years back. I've been running a company called SPH Consultancy and E-Services as a managing director for the last 25 years. So, how do we define sustainable tourism? Tourism that takes full account of its current and future economic, social, and environmental impacts, addressing the needs of the visitors, the industry, and the environment and the host communities. This is the official United Nations World Tourism Organization called UNWTO's definition of sustainable tourism. So, but what do we really understand by sustainable tourism? Sustainable tourism refers to sustainable practices in and by the tourism industry. It is an aspiration to acknowledge all impacts of tourism, both positive and negative. It aims to minimize the negative impacts and maximize the positive ones. The negative impacts to the destination include economic leakage, damage to the natural environment, and overcrowding, to name a few. The positive impacts to the destination include job creation, cultural heritage preservation and interpretation, wildlife preservation, landscape restoration, and much more. The variations of the sustainable tourism could be ecotourism. Sustainable tourism does not refer just to a specific type of tourism, rather, it is an aspiration for the impact of all forms of tourism to be sustainable for generations to come. Ecotourism and responsible tourism are two major variants, which are really what we are going to talk about today. What ecotourism does is a niche segment which is working on tourism in the natural areas. And why I've chosen that for today's discussion is because that we have tourism in Northeast mostly for nature. Also, responsible tourism is another area which is very important for Northeast, where we are. The word responsible tourism basically refers to the behavior and the style of individual travelers. The behaviors should align with making a positive impact to the destination rather than negative impact. So, the the concept of e-tourism is something that we need to understand, especially when we talk in terms of sustainable tourism. It's in the service industry, tourism is specifically influenced and transformed by the ICT or information communication technologies. Typically, since the products are complex and intangible, its production and consumption are not separatable. Its inventories of goods and services are very perishable, and the consumption experience varies depending upon the individual tourist at different times. In addition, the industry is composite in nature and requires great effort in coordinating different types of services and delivery of rich information in order to reduce uncertainty due to service encounters. So, if businesses have to really make profitable business, they have to swiftly sell the unsold inventory. Now, what does unsold inventory or perishable commodity means is something that we need to understand very specifically in the context of Northeast, because it's very important to understand that if you have, let's say, example, in a hotel, some 10 rooms, in most of the resorts, you'll have 10 to 20 rooms only. Those 10 to 20 rooms, if they are not filled, they can't sell it tomorrow. If they're not filled today, it has to be really consumed. So whatever is there, it will perish. The next day, you cannot sell it. So it's very important to understand what are the, if you want to make a business around anything, then you need to have what is the kind of minimum expenses that you have to really take out from your hotel rooms so that you can. So, what are the options that you really create more and more marketing, create more and more packages, and club events or club other things to make sure that more and more people are attracted to your hotel to stay. So, why I'm emphasizing on e-tourism is since most of the people have not really applied for this use case, and but in Northeast, more than 50% of the livelihood is dependent on tourism. And e-tourism is something that can really help in terms of really providing facilitation, where all the information of all aspects of the tourism life cycle are available at one place. And the travelers currently are moving from just going for mass tourism to demanding authentic and memorable experience. But there is no support which is designed for them, whether it is in terms of local language support, local attraction related detail listing, maps of the area, the hotels and the service providers. So there is a lot of touts are there who are basically taking the tourist for a ride, or they are selling things which are exorbitant rate. So e-tourism per se is a phenomena and research area, the adoption of information technology by tourists and business basically transforms the process and the value chain in the industry. This developmental change the process of the business or the organization while reconfiguring the landscape of commerce. So it's very important to understand that e-tourism is the digitization of the processes and the value chain in the tourism, travel, hospitality, and the catering agencies to enable organizations to maximize their efficiency and efficacy. This is the whole basis of what we are really talking about in this particular ideathon. We want people to really kind of look at the value chain. How does a tourist find out your location? You should be accessible on all kinds of electronic devices. You should be able to really look at all the aspects of the traditional online travel ecosystem, whether it is travel review, whether it is to gather inspiration or planning or research or booking or actual traveling and coming there. Now, I won't go into details of the process, but you need to really look at the sustainability criteria. What is the industry criteria and what is the destination criteria? What you mean by that this is all the industry criteria relates to the sustainable management of the private sector travel industry or the hotel industry, which is currently sold through the hotels and the tour operators. Whereas on the destination criteria are those criteria which are relating to the sustainable management of the tourism destination. I hope you all understand tourism destination, what it means. What a tourism destination means that if more than 40% of the revenue of a particular place is coming from tourism, then that is eligible to be called as a tourism destination. Of course, it has to be accorded a status of tourism destination if it fulfills a certain other criteria. And this accreditation of tourism destinations in India was started by me for the first time when I got my city called Udaipur into a world defined as the first tourism destination from India to be accorded by the UNWTO the tourism destination status. Though everybody, a lot of tourists used to come to all these international destinations like Goa and this thing, but they were not officially a tourism destination under the UNWTO regulation. So what we did was to make sure that we really bring in the sustainability criteria, we bring in the business criteria and the destination criteria all put together, and worked with hotels and accommodations, the tour operators, the government destination, and the corporate and business travel to really make that happen. And while doing that, we also looked at capturing the sustainability emerging trends, which is decarbonization. That means you have a net zero travel. That means whatever is the emissions that is being created during the travel is offset through some other mechanism. And the decarbonization strategies could be in terms of looking at the sequence of the decarbonization initiatives. I'm not going more detail into it, but you can read about it if you want to. And I will have this presentation shared with all of you who are interested, where we can basically help the startups or the tour operators or the travel agents to really create ideas. Create ideas for them how they can make their sustainable future of tourism. So the current trends are that you have a lot of business tourism clubbed with sustainable tourism, health and wellness tourism, educational tourism, experiential tourism in terms of adventure, cycling, fishing, rafting, etc. I'm very proud that heritage tourism and ecotourism, I have contributed a lot, for which I won an international award from MasterCard in 2006, based on which I was awarded MBA in tourism, and then subsequently a master's in science in tourism and travel from Nottingham University. So these are scholarships, two back-to-back scholarship, and a gold medalist electronics engineer became a master's in travel and tourism. So the sustainable tourism features basically are twofold. One is the 4 Ps: people, planet, profit, and participation. And in terms of the the 4 Cs, why are we doing it? How are we doing it? And what benefit are we achieving is basically the 4 pillars. The context, the collaboration. Context means the right kind of content is delivered for collaboration, for the community, and for the commerce. So this is where I have kind of been working of rethinking the tourism, especially for places like Northeast and others, which are heritage destinations or hill stations, where you create green tourism on one side, which is low impact on environment, technology enhanced tourism, where you have a lot of, let's say metro cities have too many tourist locations. How do you really navigate through all the challenges? And again, the most important is the safe tourism. So these 3 buckets basically try to really bring in greener, smarter, and safer tourism. I won't go into details of each one of them, but in essence, green tourism and sustainable tourism are normally used interchangeably. The sustainable tourism concept looks at the complete tourism experience, whereas the green tourism basically looks at the sustainable aspects in terms of uh, environmental, economic, and social issues. especially with the host communities. So I've come up with a concept of smart tourism, which is basically what European Union defined as a destination facilitating access to tourism and hospitality products, services, spaces, and experiences through ICT-based or information communication technology tools. The smart tourism is very important component of a smart city. So we have 100 smart cities in India now, and these smart cities actually give you a lot of uh, opportunity to really explore what you can do and provide as a service. I am skipping some of these slides just to summarize that there are smart experiences, smart business ecosystems, and smart destination, which really work for the smart tourism. And these concepts can be really kind of understood in probably 2 hour session, but then I am not really going to provide you with the complete this thing. But what I would like to really share is the technology in the smart world that we live in. We have so many tools which are available to us for the digital identity, mobile location-based systems, the social media platforms, the e-commerce platform, augmented reality systems, APIs, smart interface, networks, IoT, and also the ChatGPT now and the other LLMs which are there. So you can do so much with so less of an effort. So why don't you really kind of build these enablers and try to really create a smart tourism destination, which is where so, for example, I had worked on one particular city, as I said, Udaipur, and I continue to do that. And I've been building opportunities for my city. I come from Udaipur. I've lived for almost 20 years in Udaipur, so I consider it to my hometown. My parents were there. Uh, During the G20 Sherpa meeting, the first Sherpa meeting was held in the Darbar Hall, Fateh Prakash Palace. This was an international luxury heritage MICE activity for 4 days. 4 days, 400 people coming to a city, deliberating on the G20 Sherpas meeting from all countries was an amazing experience. I was also invited. The World Music Festival, which happened almost at the same time or just after that, was another experience that we helped to create. Actually, I don't create these experiences. I help them, the local people, to really actually create these experiences for the international market. As a consultant, as a innovator, and as an idea, I gave them some time, and then they have worked on it and they made a business out of it. So, for example, just after the Sherpa meeting, since everything, so much of promotion of Udaipur was done, the art festival was designed by Pacific University, one of the universities, to do a sustainable culture art stay for 10 days, where 8 countries artists came together and they did workshops and this thing in the university area, and also, of course, tourism. So you can see some of the pictures of those events. These are G20 Sherpa meet on the first slide on the bottom. Udaipur Music Festival. This is probably the fourth international music festival, and started with a small festival on the Fatehsagar Lake, but now it has become an international. And on the right, you can see the art festival from all these 8 countries. All these artists actually produced products or designs which they showcased, which you can see them there here. What we've tried to do differently is to use the powerful storytelling. And just this picture alone, I actually spent almost 2 lakh rupees to really get this picture right. So you can imagine that this picture is what really brought G20 Sherpa meeting on the to Udaipur. And this is what really made the music festival really happen. And this picture was shot on a helicopter. Almost 1 crore was spent on not just getting the right shoot, but also 360-degree view, which I can't show here, but this is how it is. And since I was invited to really, I work with citizens as well as the tourists, so I was invited by the Udaipur Citizen Society to really talk about it, and there's a lot of coverage. So that's all for sustainable tourism. I urge you, even if somebody has an interest, please do look at this particular area and apply for. You can still change your area of the final submission. If somebody has an interest, please go ahead and try to develop this concept. So more about this, you can really see on the so I will leave this presentation and the video. If we are able to really record it properly, we'll have to really work on the editing it and then only giving it out. Unfortunately, I don't have a help today to really handle the backend, so I had to do it myself. So please do apply for the IDITHON. Even if you don't have full knowledge, you can always reach out to me. Tomorrow also I'm available, and I'll make myself available between 6 and 8, but I'm not going to be on Zoom per se. I don't intend to really do anything unless anybody wants to have a one-on-one session with me on Zoom. So I would have a link created. If you want, anybody wants to really have, just shoot out a mail that we would like to have a 20-minute session, and I will just slot the times accordingly. Okay, between 6 and 8. Thank you. Any feedback?
Thank you, ma'am.
Anything that you'd like to know more about sustainable tourism? Because I have not covered anything which is there on the website, which you can actually see. You should go down to each and every page of the website, which is there in 3 languages. It's available in Assamese, it is available in English, it's available in Hindi. And I'm very proud that this has been done by entrepreneurs like you, who have just given their time to really put this together. And I wanted it to be multilingual because that's the part of the IDITHON that one of the entrepreneurs has done. So happy to take any questions if there are any. Surbhi, Pushpanjali.
Yes, ma'am. This is a great session actually, and I really want to know about the e-tourism because until unless e-tourism is not there, any promotion can't be done. Like it's a basic requirement for everything, I think.
Yeah.
Even if you're in food or if you're in anything, it should be food plus e-tourism. It should be anything with related to it. So basically, your background knowledge and it will be more vital for the promotion of any startup. Like that is a base that actually you are talking about.
Yeah, for tourism, I think I have mentored a lot of startups, and 2 of them have gone global. So I take a lot of pride that I helped the first startup in the hotel and the travel reservation system in the hotel area to develop the first hotel reservation system for independent properties. We did a consolidation of 600 properties, and I'm talking about 2000. So 1999, 98, 99. 98, actually, this company was acquired. And I just started my consulting firm in 1999. So before that, they were actually working with me in the previous company that I was working. Actually, I was incubated in my previous company itself. So what we did was to really help to really put together these stakeholders together. How do we really do the reservation for independent properties? And that was then this company was acquired by Sabre. Sabre is one of the largest GDS service providers. So they didn't have hotel inventory of India. So we targeted at 40 to 60, 40 to 100 room properties, not very big, not very small, and especially in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So we did a consolidation of 600 hotels and got the rates approved and got um, a possibility how do we sell the inventory online. And that was probably the first reservation system in the country, which I'm very proud of, which was done by this thing. This project was called ResNet. I was the consultant to that project, though they wanted me to be on the board, but I didn't really come on board because I was just setting my own company. And at the same time, the next, after this acquisition, the same database was used by Oyo. And today Oyo is where you know all of you. So Oyo is is also one of my mentees. So I've mentored a whole lot of entrepreneurs in the travel tourism sector. As a travel, this thing, I turned around building the capability and capacity in the travel sector. I did some huge work, which is related to developing the new courses in travel and tourism, which relate to what we've been talking about, from ecotourism to doing an international conference on ecotourism in 2001. A magazine called Indian Hospitality as an entrepreneur, and then ResNet and two of the other projects which we developed as a backend service provider. This was a communication marvel in terms of this thing, and I've turned around almost about 40 hotels to become profitable in the Uttarakhand and the Rajasthan sector, just by streamlining their processes, digitalizing their property. And that is one of the reasons why I received the international award for being the top 20 women innovators by MasterCard. And uh, so as a communication engineer, I used my engineering knowledge to really bring in these disparate set of people together. But today I'm structuring it as a smart edge methodology and helping a lot of other entrepreneurs like you to really work on similar thing. We just need to focus on only the smart methodology, and it's so simple. It's no rocket science. There is no technology. You can have a piece of paper and you can actually kind of sit down, create those 10 slides which I have just shown you, and you can create the next big thing. So I'm hoping that you all come up with ideas, because as in the presentation you heard them speak, that maybe your idea might be the next big thing. I still remember Ritesh's statement, which Ritesh made. मैडम, आज तक तो किसी को पीटर थिल फाउंडेशन से अवार्ड मिला नहीं है, तो मैं क्यों अप्लाई करूं? मैंने कहा तुम नहीं अप्लाई करोगे तो तुम्हें मिलेगा नहीं ना. So you have to really apply, only then you will get it. So that's this thing. If you apply your mind, spend half an hour, 1 hour, and put your ideas in a structured manner, maybe you might be the next big company, at least the next big idea. So thank you all for your time. If there are any questions, please put it in the chat so that I can prioritize it. Otherwise, we'll stop here. We still have about 8 minutes to go.
Ma'am, beside templates, do you have any ready-made slides available that your previous apps selected?
So
so that...
I normally do not like to really cloud your vision. You have to think your this thing.
No, it's not.
It's
I don't want to. We don't want to copy anything, but it is like the presentation thing.
So you're not giving an exam. you are basically consolidating your idea. So we can only give you a template. Anybody else's, this thing is based on their experience, their thought process. What you have to do is that what is your thought process on that subject. So please, I mean, I could have easily given this thing. Had it been a hackathon or had it been this thing, I would have shown somebody's idea. But I very specifically on tourism, I've given you two case studies which you can read about. Oyo is one case study, ResNet is another case study. These are places. I mean, the problem was that all these smaller towns, hotels would not be able to sell their inventory, and half of the time they would have I have taken some of the small hotels from 30% occupancy to about 70% occupancy in less than a year's time. So those are the things which are key differentiators that really brought in a radical change. I brought in the concept of destination management, and I was not from this area, by the way, as I mentioned, but I learned it. And after learning it, I was given twice an offer to really specialize in this area so that others can benefit. So please take the benefit of that if you want to really kind of do something in this area. And it's not just this ideathon. If anybody wants to build a business around it, I'm more than happy to release it. IQphonics team, any questions, any feedback? So if not, we'll take this thing. But what I'd request, I have sent in a WhatsApp request to all of you through the mail, the ones who are there. But I will share this link here also. This is a WhatsApp community. I will try and include all of you. If you could just share your WhatsApp number, because some of the mails have not really been received because the mail ID which is there on the listing is not on WhatsApp. Why I'm saying that, if somebody is participating in this, we might have a last minute connectivity issues going through Zoom or any other device. So I want to really create these groups for the jury process for all the themes. So if not, I'll end the session. Anybody who has in this thing, you can always write to me. You have my access numbers as well as the official number for Smart Edge is there on the website, as well as the email ID. And I monitor it almost like on a 4-hourly basis. So if you maximum, I would take 6 hours to respond to it if I can do it directly. Otherwise, somebody else will do it from the office. Ending the session now.